Good morning, Year 5. Welcome to your Monday's math lesson. Today we're continuing with subtracting with fractions and mixed numbers, and today we're going to be breaking the whole. I'll explain that in a minute. Please put today's date and learning objective underlined neatly in your book, then record your flashback 4. I've given you some bits in red to help you with your answers. Pause the video while you have a go. Let's see how you did. Mark your answers, please, in blue pen. Let's move on to today's learning. Today we're going to look at subtracting the whole, breaking the whole when we're doing subtraction with our fractions. Let's get ready with some of our key skills on a recap from last week. Pause the video while you have a go. Let's see how you did. Number 1. 1 whole 1 is equal to 5 what's? 5/5. Number 2, 4 whole 1s is the same as how many thirds? 4 lots of 3, or 4 times 3 is 12. 12 thirds. Number 3, 6 1/2, subtract 5/12. We need to change it so it's the same denominator. So 1/2 is the same as 6/12. So we've got 6 whole 1s and 6/12, subtract 5/12 is 6 whole 1s and 1/12. And the last one, 2 whole 1s, subtract 1/3, leaves us with 1 whole 1 and 2 thirds. Well done, let's move on. Let's have a look at this question. Today our learning is all about something called breaking the whole. Now it sounds a bit fancy, but actually you're going to see it's just where we need to break back into one of the previous whole ones when we subtract. If we look at this calculation, it's not much different to one we've seen last week. We need to make it so the denominators are the same. Now Tiny looks at this and says, I don't think it's possible to do it. Let's see if we can work out why he thinks that. So first step, we need to multiply by 3 to make these into 12ths. So it becomes 2 whole 1s, multiply both top and bottom by 3, 3/12, and then we need to subtract the 5/12. So I think I can see why Tiny thinks that, because if you have 3/12, it doesn't seem like you can take 5 away. But don't forget we had 2 whole 1s as well. Pause the video and have a think. How do you think you might be able to break back into the 2 whole 1s to take some more away? Let's have a look together. Here is our calculation. Let's build it. You do the same, please. So I have 2 whole 1s split into 12ths, and here I've got the 3/12 extra. So we've built this number. Now we want to subtract 5 of those 12ths. So I can take 1 away, 2 away, and 3 away. So if I take 3 of these 5/12 away, I get back to 2 whole 1s. And here you can see why we call it breaking the whole, because we need to break back into this whole one and take some more away. I've taken 3 away, but how many more do I need to take away to take 5 away altogether? That's right, I need to take another 2 away. And there you can see 3 and 2 more means I've taken 5 away altogether. So now I can see I've got 1 whole 1 and 10/12. So what I've actually done is I've taken this 5/12 and I've split it so that I can take these 3/12 away first. And then I've thought, what else do I need to make it up to 5/12 and taken them away after? This is actually what we did. 2 and 3/12, subtract the 3/12 first, gets me back to 2 whole 1s. Then my 2 whole 1s, and I took off the remaining 2 of those 12s. And that's left me with 1 whole 1 and 10/12. Let's move on. Let's have a look at it as a number line. Now here you can see I've split my number line into 12 pieces because I'm working with 12ths. So there are 12 jumps between 0 and 1 and so on. I can put onto my number line 2 and 3/12, so 2 whole 1s and 3 more of those 12ths. and I can put my 5/12 down over here, and that's 5/12. Now remember, taking away or subtraction means finding the difference between those jumps. So I can add on to get to my whole one, that's 7/12. I can jump one more whole one to get to 2 whole ones, and I can jump on another 3/12. And these are the jumps that I'm going to add together. These jumps give me my answer. So I've got my 7/12, add 3/12, add 1/12. 7 add 3 makes 10, so it's 1 whole one and 10/12. And don't forget, we can simplify by dividing both of these parts by 2, and it becomes 1 whole one and 5/6. Well done if you spotted that. I'd like you to pause the video and either use the bar model method or the number line method to complete these. But remember, before you try each of those methods, the first step is to make them into the same denominator in each one. Let's see how you did. Number 1, let's try it with the bar model method. So the first step is to convert my 1/5 into tenths. So we'd be doubling both parts, so that's 1 and 2/10 subtract 7/10. You can see I'm going to have to break back into the whole one. Let's build it in tenths. So I have 1 whole bar in tenths and another bar in 2/10. So I'm starting by building the bar to represent the first number. I now need to subtract 7 of those tenths. Now you can see I can take those 2/10 off here to get back to 1 whole one. So I'm going to split this number down into 2/10 to take away, because that's telling me what to take first. And 2 and 5 is what makes 7. So I take off those 2 first, and then I take off another 5. So I've taken 7 of those tenths away altogether. What am I left with? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm left with 5/10. What's 5/10 the same as? 1/2. Well done. On the second one, let's have a look at doing it as a number line. So we convert first, so we've got the same denominator. 2/3 becomes 6/9. Each piece of the bar is split down into 9 pieces because we're working with 9ths. 2 and 2/9 is here, 6/9 is here. Using my jumping to the whole, I've added on 3/9 here, added on 1 whole, and added on 2/9. 1 whole one, add 2/9, add 3/9 makes 1 whole one and 1 and 5/9. Well done if you spotted that. Let's have a look at A and B. Only one of these calculations will break the whole. How do you know which one it is without having to draw it out? Well, to work it out, you change them both to the same denominator. In this one, you can see it would be 2 and 2/14 subtract 6/14. So I'm taking away more than I have in this part. So I'd have to break the whole. In this one, 2 and 12/14 take away 1/14. I wouldn't have to, because I can do 12 take away that 1. So that one wouldn't break the whole. Your turn, please, to have a go at questions 1 to 3 on the worksheet. And here's how I'd like you to record that, please. Drawing it out neatly in your book and splitting it down. For example, 6/12, I could take 6/12 away, and to get to 7/12 I've got to take another 1/12 away. And you can see how I've drawn that in the picture. Continue to use these methods to the end of question 3. Pause the video. While you do that, then come back to me. Let's move on. Dexter watched television for 3 2/5 of an hours during the weekend. Dora watches 13/5 fewer hours than Dexter. Fewer means less. Dora watches 1 hour of television on Saturday, but I want to know how long she watches it on Sunday. Let's have a draw of that as a bar model. So Dexter watches it for 3 hours and 2/5. Dora watches for less, because fewer means less. But how much less? 13/15. So we put that here. That's how much less. but I want to find out how long she watches on the weekend. Have a pause and think what maths you might do to work that out. Let's see how you did. We're going to do 3 2/5 subtract 13/15. So we're going to change this to 15ths first. That's multiply both parts by 3 to get 6/15. Subtract 13/15. So I want to subtract 6 first. So here I'm going to have 6, and to make it up to 13 I've got another 7 to take away. So 3 6/15 take away 6/15 will get me back to 3 whole ones. Then 3 whole ones subtract the 7/15 is 2 8/15. So that's how long Dora watches television over the whole weekend, but that's not the final answer. If she watches one of those hours is on the Saturday, how long is she watching it on the Sunday? Well, I do that answer and I take one of the whole ones away. So it's 1 hour and 8/15 in total hours. Well done if you spotted that. One more question. It's a bit of a different one. The difference between a fraction and a mixed number is 3/4. The fraction has a denominator of 12. What could the fraction be and what could the mixed number be if the difference between them is 3/4? Here is how we'd record that. Like this for the mixed number, subtract 3/4 leaves me with a fraction. That means a proper fraction, not an improper fraction. Well, we know the denominator is 12, so we can write that in. We could also write it there, but we need to change this into 12s to help us to work it out. 3/4 as 12s, we times both parts by 3 to get 9/12. So I need a whole number and a fraction. Take away 9/12 leaves me with a proper fraction. Let's try it with one whole one. I've got to do something, and this number has got to be less than 9 because I'm going to break the whole. Let's try any number that's less than 9. If we had it as 5/12, 1 whole one and 5/12, subtract 9/12. Well, if I take 5/12 off, that gets me back to the whole one. I'd have 4 more 12s to take away, and that would leave me with 8/12. So that's one possibility. But could tells me that there is more than one possibility. Basically, any number here that's less than 9 will help me to break the whole. Try and find out how many different ways you could do that. Now I'd like you to have a go at questions 4 to 6 on the worksheet. Here's how I'd like you to record it by sticking the question in, for example 4, on the left of your page and showing all your working out on the right of the page. I've shown you how to lay out number 1 and started you off with answering it here, showing how to break up 7/10 into those 4/10 and 3 more tenths to take away after. Good luck with that, and remember to continue all the way to the end of question 6. Red group and anyone who would like some extra challenges, here are your challenges that are in your pack. I've given you a sentence starter to help you to answer this one, but I'd like you to do all working out next to the questions in your book. You may pause the video at any point to help you remember, and you may also go back at any point to help you in your learning. Good luck with today's learning, and I'll see you again for maths tomorrow. Goodbye.